Welcome back to another edition of the Seed Talk Podcast. I'm your host, Sterling Mack. No Taylor on the other side today, just me doing a little solo thing. We'll talk LeBron, talk the Hawks, and hit a few interesting things within sports investing here. And then round it out. So if you haven't seen some of our latest work, we just made a podcast with Danny Courtenay of Studio Ventures. We had a podcast with the founder and CEO of Chummy's Customs. To check them out, check both of those podcasts out there on obviously in our feed on Spotify, Apple, wherever kind of you get your podcasts, also on YouTube as well. Continue to follow myself at Steve Mac Taylor at TaylorMac29. For all the things, and our follow Seed Talk. We, some of the things you're going to see here, especially the sports investing. We post a lot of that information there, as well as on our Substack, which you can kind of follow me there, and our the blog at Sports Tech Atlanta. Doing some cool things with Sports Tech Atlanta as well right now. We have some really nice properties that we're working with in terms of sponsorship and partnerships. So if you're a sports tech company or you're looking to, find ways to deploy your brand within sports, please reach out to us. We've definitely got some really nice opportunities. We've got a few companies we're working with as well that are looking for funding. So if you're in that space and looking to deploy funds, please reach out to us. All right, let's get into this a little bit. LeBron's back. The NBA is better when LeBron is back, right? It's crazy. I mean, he's been in the NBA since I've been in middle school, high school, I think. And so I've had him in the NBA my whole life, especially adult life. So it is weird to think of the NBA without him. Yeah, it's just good to I don't know what we're going to do when he decides to move on. Stephen A. Smith has left NBA Countdown. He kind of made it like it was his decision. I think it was more, I don't know, what maybe he did negotiate that. But it's so interesting right now that LeBron is no longer, it's like Stephen A. Smith and all these people are trying to find different avenues because they can't make money off of him anymore. So I do find that intriguing, if you will. God, dogs. So I think the thing that is fascinating about LeBron, and I said this, and it was interesting. I saw some people, I don't know if it was at me or just at people like myself who just, made the comment, right? LeBron's amazing. And he's arguably the best player of all time. I think the question is fair, though, right? Not on could he fit back into what Austin Reeves and Luka had created. It's more of did he want to, right? It's all about the aspect of want to. And I always hated that when coaches would be like, you got to have some want to you. You got to have that want to. What? Shut the fuck up. But in this case, it is really real, right? LeBron can do all the things you saw last night. He can cut. He can help the Lakers play with a little pace, right? Luka has a certain pace that he likes to play to. And gosh, Luka looks. I think Gilbert Arenas said it on Threads last night. I mean, I think Durant's the best scorer of all time. But I trust Luka to get me a basket at any time. Just the right shot. His offensive prowess is unbelievable. And obviously he's very motivated this year to make sure that people are reminded of that. But with LeBron, what you saw last night is that ability to play with pace, to cut when needed to. Obviously his basketball IQ is so massive. He's just such a smart basketball player. So he knows it's not like, can he play off of Luka or can he play off of Austin Reeves? Can he spot up and shoot threes? Can he cut at the right time? Can he get out in the break when he wants to? Of course he can do all those things. I think the question is going to be, does he want to do that all season? And I think that's just fair to ask. He's never been the number 2 on a team, right? Obviously, at some point, you assume he kind of takes the 2 spot and Austin kind of slides to 3. Maybe not, but I think that makes the most sense. And we just have not seen it. And so I think that's and rightfully so, right? LeBron is which is crazy, right? For these 22 years previously, now in his 23rd, like the fact that he's been able to, for all of that time, be a 1A, is unbelievable. And so, yeah, I think we're just curious how this continues to go. They look, if Ayton continues to play like that, and I'm sure they maybe try to go find a little help, right, to have a backup center or those Jackson Hayes minutes, just like a different defensive presence and different lob threat. I mean, they're an interesting with LeBron back. The math changes in the West, right? If LeBron's going to play like that and integrate into what Luka and Austin are doing, so kudos. I think I just feel good that LeBron is back, right? That first and foremost, and we'll continue to kind of track how he looks and how he is gonna kind of play with what the Lakers are trying to do. I'll do a quick thing here on the Hawks because I've seen a lot on Hawks Twitter and Hawks threads about how the team is better without Trae, which is crazy, right? That's a crazy statement. You kind of saw it against the Pistons last night, where when you just you're trying to make this comeback, the Pistons aren't playing great. Cade was pretty good last night, but he wasn't unbelievable, right? That felt like a game that you could go take. No Porzingis, always a little tough. And you just need a guy that can go get you a bucket, right? The question, I think, for Trae, and this has kind of been the question over time within Atlanta, is how can he play with others? And it's not like can he be a good teammate, although that's not the question. It's the feeling that I think teammates have, right? When you have a very ball dominant guard, someone who's as talented as Trae is. And so if you're what you see right now with the Hawks, with like Nikhil being on the ball and Jalen on the ball at times, and then Dyson's on the ball, Reese Shea's getting his, right? When Porzingis has played, he's getting touches at the foul line, and then Onyeka's in the corner, and the ball's moving, it's touching everyone's hands, everyone's feeling good, right? Vit coming off the bench, shooting that thing, as Ernie likes to say. I mean, that's what you hope when you have a team that has a ton of guys. And I think the hope is can Trae do that? Can he come back into the fold? Can he come back into what is going on and just really add to it? Of course he can, right? It's kind of similar to what I was talking about LeBron. It's not a can he, right? It's just like when you're so used to playing a certain way, you're so used to doing certain things, how do you feel kind of giving up a little bit of that control for these guys to continue their growth and what they've been able to kind of put together? And I think that's the question. So, hopefully as Trae's been out, he's been able to really kind of sit back and see that and see, okay, like this is, when to pick those times to be super aggressive and to kind of be that ice Trae and to take over and go ISO or go, very, very high pick and roll centric, right? Which becomes kind of more of a two-man kind of game than it does like hey, we're going to spread it around and everyone's going to kind of touch it and feel good. But also, like, when should I kind of lay back? When should I let Jalen or Daniels or Dyson, kind of push the pace and I kind of fill in or I bring up the rear, and then if we don't get anything, now let's reset the offense. Just those little simple things, I think. And if he's able to do that, I mean, I love, I was a little nervous at the beginning, but the Hawks you felt like they were going to be really good defensively. If Jalen Johnson could stay healthy, what he can do all around is unbelievable. Dyson on the ball, And then again, Nikhil's been great, right? His offensive game, you thought he had a little bit of that in Minnesota, but you're now seeing it. He's coming off picks, getting to the mid range, shooting three really well. But his defensive ability as well. The team defensively looks really good, and that's the other part, right? Like, there's just certain things Trae can't do because of his size, but if he can be that's the thing. Like Steph's actually not bad on the ball. I think he gets a little hate there, like for his defense. He's not bad on the ball, but he is a great team defender, and so if Trae can be okay on the ball, but be good in team defense, what you're already seeing from a defensive perspective, I mean, man, that the other night, that's all that was, right? It was just hard-nosed team defense as they came back from 18 down against the Suns. You got to score too when you're coming back, but their ability to switch everything, to get out on guys, to make it really difficult at the rim, even when you don't have like the traditional center. Oneka's so good being vertical or just being active. And then, like I said, when you get Dyson and Jalen and Nikhil on the ball and out in front and kind of doing what they're doing, Feed's been really good too defensively. I think he's not like amazing on the ball all the time, but when you add into the team defense aspect, it's been really fun to watch, and that's what I think all of us as Hawks fans have wanted. Just a team that it's really fun to click into every night, and let's hope that as Trae, we need Trae back. Hope he's been able to recover, and hopefully as he does get back, he's able to fit in very seamlessly. All right, let's do a little sports tech investments. It's been interesting to see some of the things that have gone on here as of late. The Snow League, which is launched by legendary winter sports athlete Shaun White. And if you don't know, the Snow League is the first professional winter sports league entirely dedicated to snowboarding and free skiing. Announced a funding round of $15 million to accelerate its growth and expansion. The new investment will allow Snow League to build on the momentum of its inaugural 2025-26 season, helping to expand operations globally, enhance event production, grow its media properties and engagement, and advanced partnerships from global brands ahead of its upcoming events in Asia, North America, and in Europe. So the round was anchored by an investment, or investors, from 359 Capital, which formerly was Sapphire Sport. So quick anecdote there, Sapphire Sport, which is they're currently halfway through its investing seed fund of $181 million. So they were a part of like Sapphire, which has like billions underneath their umbrella. So they had always maintained a separate kind of group of limited partners from Sapphire Ventures. Its LPs are very deeply tied into the sports industry, including big names like the City Football Group, Adidas, AEG, Madison Square Garden, Sinclair, and dozens of team owners. So, wanted to highlight that from a Sapphire Sport and 359 perspective, but obviously, and especially since they kind of anchored this round here. Back to the Snow League, notable other investors are Aries Management Funds, David Blitzer, Linda Hendry, Fenway Sports, Ryan Sports Ventures, Boardroom Sports Holdings, and Will Ventures. And I guess I got to say too, right? Nina Dobrev and Shaun White look like. I saw Nina was posting a ton like on Threads, and I was like, oh. So I guess gotta shout that out too there. But yeah, really cool for the Snow League. Again, announcing a $15 million funding round. Actually, I have another one here. The next one we'll do is if I can get my page back up, is Monarch Collective. So Monarch Collective, we've highlighted a few times on the podcast, and again, if you're not following Seat Talk Podcast on like Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, all the things, like we posted this just kind of in like a picture form earlier, I think sometime last week. But so they bought a 38% stake in the German second tier women's club, Viktoria Berlin. Monarch becomes the first international investor to enter the German women's soccer. The deal was struck under the 50+1 guideline that governs soccer club ownership in Germany, where no team can be majority owned by independent parties, ensuring a club and its members retain overall control. I do find that really interesting. The investment also comes as the German Football Association, DFB, prepares to vote on whether to spin off the Frauen Bundesliga into an independent entity, with the federation already committing to investing 100 million euros into the top flight league. So this kind of reminded me of Mercury 13, who bought FC Como a couple years ago. They then went out quickly, struck like a really big sponsorship deal with Nike, signed Alicia Lehman, and are now like second in their standings this year. So, we've talked about this a few times on the Seat Talk podcast, right? Where you have American investors kind of taking their prowess and really their structure into a, not always at the top level, right? But second, kind of third divisions, and then being able to kind of bolster the team and the city, right? I think that's always like a big thing. I'm hoping to do this with basketball here as the NBA starts to kind of quietly kind of expand into Europe. I think there's some things kind of brewing there, right? Where you kind of take this idea of like how you want to structure things from an American perspective, being able to go infuse some dollars into the town, into the operations of what the club is doing, and you're going to see, I think, really, really cool results, right? I think a lot of people want to point to like the Wrexhams and things like that, which are great, which are super cool, right? But when you're celebrity owned, it's a little bit different, right? But when you're able to really kind of structure the club, structure the city, do all these things kind of like in one, go get a great sponsorship deal, again, like Mercury 13 did. So I expect Monarch Collective to do something very similar here. So shout out to them for their new investment into Viktoria Berlin. Lastly, the Icon League raised 15 million in Series A funding. They were launched in 2024 by Tony Cruz and Elias Nerlich. The Icon League operates a five-side football tournament. The 14-team competition has a U.S.-style kind of franchise model with players selected centrally and teams assembling rosters within defined transfer windows. The franchises can market themselves and their athletes independently. The top four playoff teams share 500,000 in euros prize money, and then 300,000 in euros for the champion. So really cool to see this. Similar, right? We've got ballers. There's a couple of these kind of tournament style, franchise owned, kind of celebrity kind of backed leagues kind of popping up. So the money that they're raising is kind of help expansion within Europe, and also kind of the operations of what the Icon League is doing. And like I said, we're just going to continue to kind of see more of these kind of smaller leagues. I am curious at what point do we become a little bit saturated, right? In terms of like there's just only so many people, so many eyeballs. Traditional sports are always going to really be there, right? And as they expand and find different ways to kind of get you to garner your eyeballs, like what do these smaller kind of leagues do? But very cool to continue to kind of see money deployed into them and their expansion at the moment. So we'll continue to highlight these, obviously highlight everything that we do here at the Seat Talk podcast. Like I said, check out our interviews check out our past ones, right? With like Chummy's Customs, with Danny Courtenay. And then we've got one upcoming with the founders of Volleybird and Ruli. Again, thank you to them for joining us this week. So again, you can find me at SteamMac kind of all over Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, all the things. Again, check out our Substack where you kind of get some deep dives of very similar things we just talked about in terms of sports investing, but also just other topics around sports technology, some of the companies that we're working with as well. If you do want to work with us, reach out to info@sportstechatlanta.com and get more information on what we are doing. Would love to see you and work with you. And we'll see you on the next edition of the Sea Talk podcast. I appreciate it.